Good morning and welcome to the NBA Daily for January 6, 2025. Coming up, the Thunder and Cavaliers seem like they're on a mission to meet in the finals. Victor Wembanyama might be the best player in the league by the end of this year, which is shocking. And Jimmy Butler is definitely getting traded. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, Zena. Good morning, Es. Another amazing action-packed weekend in the NBA. It seems like this season we have had more marquee weekend games on Sunday competing with football.
Yes.
The Thunder and Celtics is a game that, a lot of people thought this is the finals preview.
Yep.
And they're going head to head in the afternoon with the NFL, on NBA TV. And we were texting a little bit in our chat, just wondering, why isn't this a national TV game? Like, why isn't this on prime time? I can't figure it out. But the Thunder guys, man, they gave a primetime performance. In the second half of the game, they held the Celtics to only 27 points. I think everyone is probably saying the same thing this morning. Monday morning, we all kind of had the same idea, right? We've had a chance to sleep on the entire weekend. And I think when you watch what the Thunder have done in the 15 straight wins that they've got, what they did against the Knicks the other night, and then what they did against the Celtics last night, Zena, you can't help but start thinking a new best team in the league just dropped. Like, this is it.
Oh, yeah. And the Thunder haven't lost to a team in the Eastern Conference yet, which is impressive. The only team
the NBA Cup,
game doesn't count.
Technicalities,
it doesn't count.
Yeah, you're right. I know.
We were there, but it never happened. No, this is something to be said about just like their resilience. And the last few games that we've seen them win, they've been down and came back. Yeah. Right? Like that's a big factor of a championship caliber team, of being able to have some resilience and have tools in your pocket. That means your defense or your offense to be able to come back. Ooh, yes, I see a long season for the OKC Thunder.
Yeah. Look, I'm assuming you agree here that they're the best team in the league right now. 15 straight wins. They actually matched the way that the Cavs started the season, the 15-0 start that they've got. What's the margin for you right now between them? And I'm assuming Boston is still your second best team in the league.
Yes.
What's the margin?
I think what we just saw was the NBA Finals preview. All respect to the Cleveland Cavaliers, by the way, who I think will be incredible. I think they will go through their bumps. They will figure it out. They've been dominant this season, no question. But I just trust Boston a little bit more right now compared to the Cavs. And the reason I say it's an NBA Finals preview is because I think the Oklahoma City Thunder are a shoo-in to get to the finals. One, it's because of that defense. And I think the reason for that is they are so good collectively and they're doing it without Chet Holmgren. That is the wild part about all of this. This is a guy who's anchoring their defense on a night-to-night basis to start the season, goes out with a hip fracture, and they're missing him. And it feels like they haven't even skipped a beat. So that's why I think, yes, they are the best team in the NBA, best defense in the NBA, potentially the best historic defense in the league too. So give it to them, man.
I'm shocked right now that both of you guys keep talking about the Celtics Thunder game as a finals preview, as if we didn't see that New York Knicks game on Friday night.
Right.
That was what?
That was a finals preview. That would be an amazing finals, actually. Stylistically.
You know what I mean? Yes,
Bowl.
Exactly. The different strategies. There it is. There it is. So yes, we've seen the Thunder in 2 back-to-back final preview type of games, and they have been able to succeed in both. That's why they've cemented themselves as, in my opinion, definitely the best team in the West. Potentially the best team in the league now.
They've been beating everybody in front of them. And, as you mentioned, to your point, they do have this collective defense and everyone is so good together. But the truth is they also have a lot of guys that you can throw on a guy, guys with some length, guys with some size. And speaking of which, Lou Dort held Jaylen Brown to 0 points, 0 rebounds, and 0 assists in the second half. Look, Mark Dagnall just being able to say, hey, we're going to put Lou Dort on this guy. And he's done. That's it. His night is over. Just go ahead and hit the showers. That's a powerful tool. I'm glad you brought up the finals preview. We went and looked over, our partner, BetMGM, brought to you by BetMGM. Here are the updated title odds. The Celtics are still the favorites. They've been the favorites all year, and they're the team that doesn't really have to prove it in the regular season. It's all about May and June for them. But we got to say the Thunder are neck and neck with them right now. The Celtics are plus 225 and the Thunder are plus 325. So really like climbing up the ladder. And
that's really good.
They're now 30-5 on the season. The Cavs also won on Sunday. They beat the Hornets. LaMelo Ball came back. So, not a total soup can that they beat there, but they moved to 31-4. They also beat the Mavericks on Friday night. And we're going to get a matchup this week, guys, between the two best teams in the league when they play Wednesday night. And I just can't help but start thinking, this is actually the finals preview, Zena.
Wow.
I actually agree with you. Because guess what? Guess who's been on the Cavs train since we started this thing?
You saw it.
I saw it. And again, both of these teams being perfectly built for this sort of longevity in this league. You talked about Lou Dort being able to be thrown on anyone. It's crazy to think that you've got not only him, you've got a spare Alex Caruso to also come off the bench and throw on someone. Both of these teams have spare tools, whether it's you need a bucket, you need a three, you need a defender, you need a big. They've got spares to go around and they all come in and there's no drop off. And I think that that's why these two teams are built to be championship contenders.
Cleveland and Boston, I do think that we've seen that gap get a little bit shorter. And I wonder do you think that have people figured out the Celtics a little bit? Have teams figured out the Celtics? If you look at the way that the Thunder guarded them, I mean, they really just switched things up. They started actually switching more in the second half, and they were able to throw, they have the kitchen sink at their disposal, but they were making adjustments that were making life harder for the Celtics in a way that I don't know that we saw last year. And maybe that's part of how Cleveland has closed the gap, is that people have caught up to Boston.
Yeah, I mean, Cleveland's offense this season is really, really close to what Boston was last year as an offense, right? Just the 3-point shooting, the passing ability, like the ball movement. You saw that highlight of Darius Garland finding Evan Mobley before he even got to his spot. Like, there is a connectiveness to having that type of continuity that Cleveland has. So to your point, like, teams that stick together usually end up making that deep run. We saw it with Denver. We saw it with Boston. We might be able to see it with, Cleveland now. I think the main question I have with the Cavs is, like, are they as malleable as these other teams we're talking about? OKC you talked about throwing the kitchen sink. Like, there are a lot of different options with what the Thunder can do. Right. They can go bigger. They can go smaller. They have tons of wings on the outside. With Boston, it feels the same way too. Can Cleveland be that switchable, that versatile when it comes to a post-game series? And I guess we'll see on Wednesday. Well,
and it's a good point that you make, because they are really one of the teams that is like, here's our 5 best guys when it matters. Yeah. And with OKC, you do have options. I mean, we just mentioned they've been doing this whole thing without Chet. Alex Caruso just hasn't been out there. And even when he's been out there, his offense hasn't even been all that great. So
that time, I think, like, start of the fourth quarter of that OKC Boston game, it was without SGA that they took the lead, right? It was Kenrich Williams. It was Aaron Wiggins. It was those guys that were really propelling the team. And then SGA had that chase down block and alley-oop and all that type of stuff that, sealed the deal. But it's tough to assess right now. You know what I mean?
OKC right now has a 7-game lead on the Rockets in the West. So 1-2, there's a 7-game gap. Last season, they won the West. There was only 8 games separating them from the Pelicans, who were in the play-in. So they are really running away from this thing. Guys, stick around after the break. Going to play a little game of buy and sell. Kawhi is back. Do we think that moves the Clippers to the top 4 in the West? Stick around. All right, it's time for everyone's favorite podcast game. We talked about doing Stock Watch, but we got to save that one. It's too early in the year. I don't want to think about stocks yet. So we're going to buy or sell right after the Christmas holiday, guys. Put you right back into the retail mood. Little buy or sell. Kawhi Leonard came back Saturday. Finally, he made his season debut. Thought he looked pretty good physically, and he fit right into what the Clippers were trying to do. The Clippers blew out the Hawks. They were plus 22 in Kawhi's 19 minutes. He had 12 points and was 3 of 5 from 3. S, I'm going to start with you, and then we'll swing it to Zena. Okay. Buy or sell the Clippers as top 4 in the West with Kawhi back. By the way, he's available for Monday night, so that means he's
health
pretty
well.
Good.
Yeah,
there you go.
Yeah. He said after the game, he's like, I'm just going through the process of making this beautiful painting. And I'm like, whoa, you're poetic. This is a poetic Kawhi Leonard we're getting this season.
Been hanging out with Jake Plummer.
Yeah, why not, right? He played, I believe, plus 60 games last season, right? So now they have 47 games remaining. That gives them a really good window. That being said, they're only like 2.5 games back of third in the West, which is crazy to talk about. So yes, I'm going to say bye. I think we could see that happen, especially because Denver's dealing with injuries. The Lakers are always kind of up and down. Memphis is dealing with injuries. I could see it. I'm a bye.
Zena?
I got to agree with my boy S. I'm buying too. Yes. And I'm not going to lie, that game against the Hawks very much feeds into why I believe this. Kawhi being back only helps the thing that's been helping the Clippers all season long. And that's been their defense turning into offense. Like they are a team that's huge on deflections, getting the passing lane, agitating their opponents. And when you look at how they ended up in terms of the score, 131-105 was the final score, but they had 8 players end up in double digits. That's wild, period. Wow. Across the NBA. Like that's a crazy stat. And it was because a lot of what they got was coming off of transition points and transition baskets, their defense being made so much easier by their offense. I mean, making their offense, so much easier. So honestly, I'm buying that stock. And they got their leader back. I like it.
I'm in. I love this Clippers team. I think they're so much fun. And it was good to see Kawhi playing basketball. We got a back-to-back treat, which was not a treat for the Nuggets and the Spurs. Okay, so Friday night and Saturday night, the Nuggets and Spurs played a home and home back-to-back, meaning they finished a game in Denver and then had to drive to the Denver airport, which is a couple hours from Denver. It's not actually in Denver. And then they flew to San Antonio and they played another game. And Jokic and Wemby gave us 2 games for the ages. If I read all the stats that happened in these games, and we would be here all day. This would not be the NBA Daily. But let's just say this. Jokic and Wemby, they were the 6th pair of opposing players since the ABA-NBA merger to record at least 35 points and 15 rebounds in the same game. It's only the 2nd time it's happened. It was Giannis and Joel Embiid the last time it happened.
Wow.
Jokic, first player to attempt at least 35 field goals in back-to-back games since Kobe Bryant. These guys are walking record book breakers.
Wild.
Yeah.
Amazing. Jeez. We had the best player in the world against the guy who I think we all expect to take that crown from him.
Yeah.
So I want to ask you guys, look, we may be early to this. We may be late. Is Victor Wembanyama, do you guys buy Victor Wembanyama as a top 5 player?
Okay, I'll jump in.
We both had to take a breath.
I am buying. I would like to buy so much stock of that. I don't know how much more stock I could purchase. He's going to win Defensive Player of the Year. It's going to be a landslide. With Luka missing time, he's going to be a first-team All-NBA player. He's going to get MVP buzz because he's going to push the Spurs to the playoffs.
18 and 16 right now.
Yeah, 18 and 16 right now. All of that means that and Wemby is going to be a top 5 player. Wemby is a top 5 player in the league right now. By the way, have a stat for you guys. Crazy stat here, okay?
Ooh,
through 100 games of his career, Wemby has more threes than Steph Curry did, more points than LeBron James did, more rebounds than Charles Barkley, and more blocks than Dikembe Mutombo. He is not real. We have to just stop thinking about what Wemby can be, because Wemby is like incredible. This is
second season in a row. And it's only his 2nd year, by the way. And we've watched him, Zena, and it feels like every night he's better than the night before. He's a machine.
Yeah. It's kind of like AI, right? The more experience, the more opportunities. Well, I'm just saying, in the more information that you give it, it produces better information.
I like the comp.
Right?
I like the comp.
And I absolutely believe that he integrates every single part of his game. I mean, even from game 1 against Jokic to game 2, I mean, it feels as if it's like an amoeba. He just absorbs it all. But I was so impressed. And the reason why I'm going to buy this stock, 21 years old, folks. Wemby is 21 years old, going against Jokic like that. There's a fearlessness about his game and a confidence level and invincibility level about his game. And I don't know if that comes with being 21 years old. Maybe that's like a maturity factor that he has even at just 21 years old. That's why I'm buying this stock. If you are that confident and that fearless at 21 to go against Jokic the way he was going in the paint, bodying up against them, even though he's pounds down on Jokic, like this is what makes him top 5. I'm buying that stock.
I think he might be the best player in the league already. I don't know, guys. I don't know. My brain is broken.
The stock.
My brain is broken when it comes to Victor Wembanyama. Guys, the Bucks, man, the Bucks. We can't quit the Bucks because they can't quit sucking for long stretches of time. The Bucks have lost 4 of their last 5. They lost to the Nets twice. And look, the Nets are giant killers, okay? Hey, they got a great coach. But they lost to the Bulls. And then Sunday, they lost to the Blazers. What are we doing? This was supposed to be their easy stretch as they were supposed to be able to walk through this. This was when they were finding their footing. Is it time to sell the Bucks as contenders to come out of the East?
Nah, not yet. I'm not ringing alarm bells yet. I'm still buying. I'm sorry. I'm still buying. Look, the NBA Cup curse has not hit the Milwaukee Bucks. I don't believe in it yet. I don't believe in
this. This is the NBA Cup malaise. It's like they didn't drink, but they have a hangover.
Yeah.
They should have celebrated.
They should have. I agree. I totally agree with you. So I'm keeping the stock though.
Okay.
I think
Zena, are you selling?
Okay.
I might be selling.
Yeah.
In the last 5, only 1. And then I'm looking at the stats actually right now. Like Antetokounmpo is your only reason that they're in these games.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Yeah. When you look at all the tools that they have at their disposal, I might be selling this one.
Yeah, I just don't see it for them. They don't have the defense. They seemingly can't figure out how to get the offense consistently against bad opponents. The losing to bad teams thing is a bad habit to set when you're a team that has championship expectations. Yeah. And in the East, man, like these are the games that you're supposed to these are the easy ones that you rack up as a top 4, in the East. You're supposed to beat these guys. They beat the Wizards. Congratulations. You got to beat the Nets and the Bulls and the Blazers. I'm out on them. Ooh, I might also be.
When you say you're out on them, is that buying or selling?
I'm selling.
Oh,
I'm out. I'm getting out of the Milwaukee Bucks business.
Look at us making money over here, Dave.
Me and Damian Lillard both out on the Bucks.
Listen, with my buying stock, I could buy a mansion in Wisconsin. All right, shout out T-Pain.
Wisconsin. Hey. Oh, okay.
Yeah, there you go.
Guys, I might be out on the Wolves. The Wolves have lost 3 in a row, including they lost to the Pistons. Pistons have been looking pretty good. In a game where Anthony Edwards scored 50 points. Everybody, for weeks, we've been talking about lineup change. I mean, I was talking about Naz Reid starting once they made the Randall trade. They're asking Coach Chris Finch about a potential lineup change. He said if he felt like it was a magic bullet, he would have done it already. You guys buy or sell a lineup change solving the problems in Minnesota?
I'm buying.
Ooh.
Okay.
I'm buying a lineup change because what will it hurt you? What will it hurt you?
That is a good point.
At this
point,
you got to think about what's going on in Minnesota. You just recently had Anthony Edwards out loud say to the media that he doesn't know what to do in double teams. That's not only a reflection on maybe Anthony Edwards' personal game and him trying to figure that out, which he quickly resolved the very next night. Yeah. But it's a reflection on your coaching staff. You're not providing me the intel, or you're putting me in situations in which I feel I can succeed. So how about let's do something about the lineup to see if this team can be put in a situation in which they feel like they can succeed. Yeah, hey, if it doesn't work out, guess what? You can go back. There's a ton of other teams in the league that are doing a ton of different changes. Why not? Timberwolves have at it.
It's a shame that this isn't a bit about the Pacers because I would love to use Pascal Siakam's wager, but I'm just
nice.
I'm just reaching there. They got to make a lineup. I mean, I think they have to at least try it. Yeah, Zena, you're really onto something there. There is a real thing there when you're a coach. It's just like, what else are we gonna do?
What do you have to lose at this point? I agree.
Exactly.
I mean, look, I think part of their problems are spacing issues, and that's why Naz Reid and Dante DiVincenzo just look so much better when Anthony Edwards is there on the floor with them. I mean, of their starting lineup, Rudy Gobert is a non-shooter. Jaden McDaniels is not having a good shooting season. I think he's shooting 30% from three. And then Mike Conley has just not been the Mike Conley of past. Right. So yeah, switch it up. Let's see if we can get something different. I'm buying stock here as well.
Yeah, and let's not forget that the defense has been better when you've got Naz Reid with Gobert than it has been with Randall. Gobert looks better, and it's because, got a more active guy out there with him. Finally, guys, the Suns, down bad. 3-7 in their last 10. They've lost 4 in a row. They have a $408 million payroll, which is the second highest in all American sports. They have only the New York Yankees have a higher payroll than the Phoenix Suns.
The Dodgers aren't up there.
Who are currently in 12th place. They are so far down in the standings that they don't have a number next to their name. And shout out to our guy, Chris Haynes. He was on a Haynes brief tonight, and he let us know that they are making a lineup change. Bradley Beal and Yusuf Nurkic coming off the bench. Rookie Ryan Dunn
and
Mason Plumlee are going to be starting. What do you got to lose, Zena? Should they be buyers or sellers at the deadline? They don't have their pick until sometime. Who knows if we'll even be here when they have their next draft pick. But
listen, I appreciate them making the decision to change their starting lineup. With that, I am buying the stock that they should stay. Or selling the stock they should
don't make any trades. Yeah,
I say no. You spent all that money, make it work.
Make it work.
Wow. Make it, figure it out. That's
it's a sunk cost, right? That could be a fallacy, Zena. Like, it's a sunk cost, but the money's been spent. But you're not going to be any good.
I mean, what else can they do?
You never know.
Yeah. I mean, look, Bradley Beal has that no trade clause. Unless this change makes him decide to, take that away, then that might change the story, right?
They've got two young guys. We cannot forget that Iguodala and Ryan Dunn have been phenomenal for the Phoenix Suns this year. Like, let's see what the Suns can do if they inject that youth in it, and maybe the older guys, the vets, Bradley Beal, Devin Booker, KD will get inspired. I don't know, something.
Maybe not. I don't know. We'll see. Guys, stick around after the break. We are going to give our favorite destinations for Jimmy Butler. The latest Jimmy Butler saga continues. And guys, we got a suspension. Jimmy Butler has quiet quit in the last couple of games, just really not shooting the basketball and seemingly unengaged. Yeah. He lost his joy. Exactly. Lost his joy. And so the Miami Heat have responded by suspending him for 7 games, conduct detrimental to the team. And then they proceeded to get blown out in their next game by the Utah Jazz, which is, that's an awful look.
It's impressive. Yeah.
There are a lot of trade rumors out there. We all know that Jimmy Butler allegedly had this list of teams. Well, that list now apparently includes anyone. He says he will play anywhere except for Miami. So I thought it would be fun for us to let's put our little trade hats on and come up with our favorite destinations. We got to say this, though. Jonathan Kuminga, suffering an ankle sprain, has thrown a real wrench into finding Jimmy Butler a new home. He's going to be out for 3 weeks, and he's been on a nice run, Zena. But what's the latest on Kuminga? And I mean, how long is he actually going to be out?
That's right. He suffered a high ankle sprain on his right ankle. He had an MRI on Sunday. He will be reevaluated in 3 weeks. He was at the game on Sunday night, saying that he feels good and that he still feels in a good position about his future. But absolutely, his future is inextricably, when it comes to the Warriors, tied to this Jimmy Butler conversation.
Yeah. Well, I will say this. The nice thing about a guy having an injury and feeling good is that's a good thing. It means he's probably going to bounce back, but also he can't get any more hurt before you can trade him. So
that's true. He'll be out for 3 weeks.
Before
so that's almost trade deadline time.
Okay. Let's do this. Let's pick our favorite Jimmy Butler destinations. I mean, outside of, Cancun or Paris or one of the other places that he would like to be. Where would you like to see Jimmy Butler play basketball for the rest of this season?
Man, I think I've thought about this a lot. And the one team that just matches the grit and grind, no pun intended, of what Jimmy Butler can do, it's the Memphis Grizzlies. I think he just has that dog mentality. They have that dog mentality. They need that score also, right? Especially if they have injuries with John Morant or Jaren Jackson Jr. or Desmond Bane. Adds another defender, that wing player. I think Jimmy in Memphis is, I think it's a match made in heaven. Yes, they'll have to pay money-wise, and that's the issue here about dealing with having to pay Jimmy. But I think from a fit perspective, why not, right?
Yeah, I mean, you don't necessarily have to pay Jimmy. I mean, he can opt out.
Could be a rental.
You know?
Yeah.
That's a good point.
I mean, maybe it's a 2-year. But Zena, what about you? Where would you like to see Jimmy for the rest of the year?
I'll make it very simple for you, Dave. Anywhere he can be happy.
What's the happiest NBA
anywhere
city?
he can find his joy.
Well, here's
is it
the funny
Milwaukee?
part. Miami was supposed to be, right? And usually players would die to go to Miami. He's already there and says he wants to see where the grass is greener on another side. So anywhere he can be happy. And I'm not sure what that looks like. Is it the fit? Is it the city? Is it the style of play?
Is it state
Who
income
knows?
taxes?
Who knows?
Is it state income taxes?
Whoever is willing to
Wherever
pay.
he can be happy.
Yeah. Who
That's where I
makes
would
that
like him to
adjusted
be.
gross income look the best? For me, look, guys, I think it solves problems for two different teams, and that's my favorite thing. You know, it's like me giving S an assist. We're both happy, right?
Yeah.
How about the Philadelphia 76ers? We reunite Joel Embiid and Jimmy Butler.
Wow.
We
We
take
talked about
Paul
this,
George
Dave.
and we put him in Miami where he's a better fit. Zena, you said this so early this year, and man, doesn't it just feel right? Paul George would fit really nicely in Miami. He's on a pretty good deal. He's a year younger than Jimmy Butler. So if you're a team like Miami looking to build around a guy, maybe that's a better fit for you.
They're still trying to be competitive too. Yeah, that makes sense.
And we've talked a lot about how PG is a little bit of a tough fit in Philly. I think Jimmy Butler, for all the reasons that you laid out with his fit in Memphis, I think he fits there. And also, Philly could use a dog. They could use Jimmy Butler in the locker room. They could use Jimmy Butler on the bench. So
they're climbing up those standings too.
I would honestly love to see Jimmy Butler back in Philadelphia. If for nothing else, I mean, we're going to get some content out of it. It's going to be great. So, all right, guys, that's going to do it for us. Thank you guys for listening. Appreciate the emails. We got some emails over the weekend. Somebody sent in an email, by the way, to explain why LaMelo Ball might have gotten so many votes. Apparently, he's first on the list.
Oh, no, I know why.
In the app. So, guys, that's very interesting.
I thought it was LiAngelo Ball's song. That's why.
His brother. That's right. That's a lot of good music. Yes, the first thing you see. Gotcha.
There you go.
Okay.
So anyway, we appreciate you guys reaching out, and especially when you can give us info like that. So for Es Baraheni and Zena Keita, I'm Dave DuFour, and this has been the NBA Daily. Thanks for waking up with us.